Did you know that Anaheim's been celebrating fall over a century, long before Disneyland opened its gates? As a matter of fact, autumn in Anaheim actually has its own kind of magic. The leaves may not turn gold like in the Midwest, but the city comes alive in its own way with pumpkin patches, crisp evenings, and a century old tradition that celebrates everything wonderful about fall and community. Anaheim, which is the largest city in Orange County, and it's home to Disneyland, of course, is famous also for imagination. But long before Mickey Mouse moved in, there was another kind of magic taking place right here in Anaheim, the Anaheim Fall Festival. For more than 100 years, this festival has captured the quirky, nostalgic spirit of the season with parades, costume crafts, and that unmistakable small town feeling in the middle of big, bustling city. Today, I'm joined by Evie Yapelli, a creative entrepreneur, artist, and board member of the Anaheim Fall Festival. Evie brings definitely an insider's view of how this beloved event has evolved over the decades. She's been in it for a very long time, obviously not 100 years, but she certainly has her heart and pulse on the history. She's been helping to keep the heritage and the life of this alive while adding fresh creative energy from a new generation. And that's very important. So grab your caramel apple, find a cozy seat, get a glass of apple cider, and get ready to fall in love all over again with one of Orange County's most treasured traditions. Welcome, Evie Yapelli, to SoCal with Val.
Thank you so much, Val. What a beautiful introduction to anyone who isn't familiar with the Anaheim Fall Festival and Halloween Parade.
So tell us, you are known as a creative entrepreneur. Tell
Yes,
us a little bit, first of all, about your background and what drew you to the Anaheim Fall Festival.
sure. I am originally from Chicago, Illinois. I grew
Oh,
up there and went to school there. And after college, decided that I wanted to pursue being a tattoo artist. I had an art background, and tattooing became specifically interesting to me. So I did an apprenticeship there and then was about 2 years out of my apprenticeship working professionally. And my husband was working for a company that decided to relocate to Southern California. So, of all the places you could relocate, that's a pretty good option.
listen, I grew up in that area, so I know what you
Did
traded. You
you?
traded snow for sunshine.
Yes, and I love Chicago. Chicago's great, but I mean, it's
Beautiful
true what they
city.
say about the weather. It is true. And my father is actually from Whittier initially,
Oh,
and then my aunt still lives in San Diego, so I had some familiarity with how much I was going to love Southern California, you know. But of course, it's hard when you move across the country to find your people, your community.
it is.
So, yeah, my husband and I both, we had friends, but it takes a little while to find people. And then in my own business, I first was working for other folks. And then in 2016, I went out on my own and I opened my own studio called Show Pigeon Tattoo. And the best thing about that is it gave me the opportunity to do more of what I wanted. I didn't feel so beholden to a boss, you know?
Certainly.
Uh, and one of those things, one of those opportunities that came up was the Fall Festival. I had some artwork featured in a local article, and one of the volunteers with the event saw it and thought I might be a good fit to get involved in some way. This was 10 years ago. So they reached out to me and invited me to check out the parade warehouse. And I went and saw these amazing parade floats, which are incredible, like professional quality floats, all built by members of the community who are volunteering their time and skills. It's incredible. So it wasn't hard for them to convince me to get involved.
That was easy, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first year in 2016, I joined simply as an artist vendor, and it was pretty small. You know, the event itself has been going on since 1923. So you
Isn't that amazing?
yeah, isn't that
1923.
incredible? And it had originally began because, you know, trick or treating is how we know of Halloween these days, but it wasn't always that way, right? If we've seen Meet Me in St. Louis, the movie, there's that great Halloween scene that
Yes.
shows, the way that the kids used to celebrate is by more tricks than treats, basically. So kids were
Yes.
opening up windows and basically causing mayhem in downtown Anaheim in the early 1920s. So a local merchants association got together and decided that if they put on an event, that would be something for the kids to do.
They might behave instead, huh?
Yes, exactly.
Wishful dreaming.
Right? So yeah, everybody loved it. It was a big hit. The next year in 1924, they added the evening parade. So then it became the
Oh,
festival and the parade. And then, as you can imagine, over that time, there it has grown and changed and vacillated quite a bit. And so when I first joined, it was kind of small. I was one of three artist vendors at the time.
oh
Uh,
gosh.
yeah, and all of those vendors are still vending with us this
Oh,
year.
that's nice. So nice.
Absolutely. And it's just grown since then. So the festival has grown and the footprint actually now this year, we've always been along Center Street in Anaheim, right
Uh-huh.
in Center Street Promenade.
Sure,
And
down the
this,
downtown area.
yeah, exactly. And this year, the festival is going to be just around the corner at Center Greens Park, which
I
is
saw that.
yeah, have you been? It's a gorgeous new park. I think it's
Yeah.
only about a year old. And the city built it specifically for these types of events so that it's like a community gathering space. And it gave us the opportunity to move the festival over there, which opened up Center Street during the day for us to bring back the classic car show, which had
Oh,
at one time been a part of the festival. So that's going to be going on just a hop, skip, and jump from the festival. Then the car show will end and the stage will be set for the parade, which starts at 7 p.m. that evening. So it's basically just a full day of festival fun, parade fun. It's family friendly. It's really an incredible event.
so fun.
Yeah.
So, um, so what inspired you to become involved as a board member?
Over time, so I started as a vendor, and then a couple years in, it was just so special. It's basically how my husband and I found this community that we were looking for, having moved from Chicago and not, really finding our place. Once we started vending, even at that even low level of interaction that was sort of more like once a year, it just was really special, and we knew there was something cool going on. So I did a fundraiser because it's a completely sponsored event. I did my own tattoo fundraiser at my business where I took some of the character designs from the event and offered them as tattoos and donated the money that I raised to the event.
Oh, that's nice. So
Yeah.
what were some of those characters? I mean, I'm assuming they
So
weren't
our
individuals.
main mascot is Andy Anaheim, and he's not exclusively the parade mascot. He's the mascot of Anaheim. Do you know about Andy Anaheim?
I guess I don't know him well enough.
Yeah, lots of people don't. This is him, Andy Anaheim.
I see him.
It's
Yes.
an anthropomorphic letter A. He was actually designed by the Walt Disney Company and gifted to the city
Oh,
of Anaheim. It was sort of like a thank you for letting them open Disneyland.
a
So
thank
Andy, yeah.
yes.
So Andy has served as the mascot of Anaheim since the, mid 50s.
Yep.
And our version of Andy approved by the city is like Andy in his Halloween regalia.
Of
So
course.
he's got his
Of course.
pumpkin, our new logo, which is just a spruced up version of the early logo. He's got like his playful witch's hat, and it's Andy. We consider him the band leader of our
Sure.
parade.
Of course. Of course. Of
Then we've
course.
got Pumpkin Man, who is of one of our volunteers, created this amazing character, Pumpkin Man, and he's
Oh,
a main event. He roams throughout the festival, so you can get photo ops with him, which is really cool.
oh,
And then he marches in the parade, of course.
of course. of
We
course.
also have Bisabuela is one of our more recent additions. I think she was added a handful of years ago. Bisabuela means great grandmother. And
Oh,
yeah, our event, in addition to celebrating Halloween and the harvest season in general, we celebrate Day of the Dead. And
oh,
Bisabuela is our parade float representation of that. She's a really amazing, intricate, gorgeous float. Huge. I think she's our tallest float. It's absolutely overwhelming when you see her house, like striking and beautiful she is. And one of the coolest things about Bisabuela is that it's an interactive float where during the day at the festival, there's a craft booth that folks, and obviously we're very kid friendly, but adults love it too.
yes, yes.
So
We are
you
kid
can,
friendly in Anaheim. Yes.
yeah, yeah. So you go and a volunteer leads you through making an origami butterfly, and
Oh,
then you write the name of a deceased loved one and fold it
oh,
up in a butterfly. And then those are tied to her skirts.
oh,
So as she travels the parade route, it's a symbolic representation of releasing the butterflies in honor of
oh,
deceased loved ones.
oh. That's lovely.
Isn't that
That is
special?
lovely. Yes, yes, yes. So is that float the same every year? Do they build a new one?
It's the same float, and all of our floats get kind of spruced up each year. She's
Sure.
in good condition because she's one of our more recent additions.
Oh,
But each year she's tended to beautifully. We have amazing volunteers who have sewn her garments, and she has like these incredible big, I don't even know what they're actually made out of because, of course, it's not real jewelry; it's too big. But
sure.
it's like an enormous, like she's got an enormous ring and beads and a
Oh, fun.
hat. She's
So
gorgeous.
fun. Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's great. That's great. And so people ask you to tattoo them with Andy Anaheim?
Yes,
How
I've
fun.
done Andy Anaheim tattoos, absolutely. And in fact, I have one from a friend who is an Anaheim native. And once I moved here officially to Anaheim, my first thought was, I can finally get an Andy Anaheim tattoo.
Oh, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yes, interesting. Yes. So, as you know a little bit about, we have real estate business here in
Yes.
Anaheim, and we manage vacation rental properties. And so often, people will come in and say, "I've lived here since
Yes.
Disneyland," or "This house was
Amazing.
built before Disneyland," or "I was here." I've got the old e-tickets from Anaheim from
Yeah.
Disneyland, and those kids have been around that long. Well, they're not kids now, but they were. So it's really interesting. Just there's so much history involved with Disneyland, and so you just think that that's all it is. I
Right.
don't think of anything else in Anaheim except Disneyland, which is really interesting because we often talk about what do people do if they come here and they don't want to go to Disneyland or they've been there before for whatever reason.
What do you
And
advise?
yeah, well, so of course, um, the packing house is interesting because even the packing house for our viewers and our listeners, the packing house was a place where they actually packed oranges. And there
Absolutely.
is a little room there actually where they show the black and white movies,
Yes.
right? Which you wouldn't know about. It's almost like a little hidden place. And I think there's a restaurant in there, something like the Hidden Rabbit or something, which is
Hmm.
kind of like a speakeasy. So that's one place. And so those kind of things in Anaheim, that's really, what it was. And there's
Yeah,
so much history. It's Orange County's biggest city. So it's fun to see those things um,
absolutely.
and look
That's
at the difference in housing because you have Anaheim Hills, which is really high end up in the
right.
hills, and then you have the Disneyland, right? Really, the Disneyland era housing.
Yeah. That's one of the things that the parade, being involved in the parade, introduced me to Anaheim, especially not being from Southern California originally.
Yes,
I wasn't aware of things like the Packing House and
no,
Center Street Promenade and Museo, which is this incredible
yes,
art
museum,
gallery and museum that I have since had the opportunity to work with, which is incredible.
yes,
And we still lived in Costa Mesa actually when we first got involved with the parade. And it's what made us want to move to Anaheim because we didn't, like a lot of people, we thought Anaheim's Disneyland. And there's this entire rich tapestry of creative people that may in some way be related to Disneyland, but are totally separate and all this other cool stuff going on.
And the city government, to its credit, over the past several years,
Yes.
has really spruced up the Disneyland, what we call the resort area, with the
Hmm.
big palm trees up and down Catella,
Yeah.
and making that just a much nicer looking area. And lots of the new hotels have come in near the Westin and some of the others that have, I think, upped the appearance around the convention center. And we have some really large conventions, Expo West, that comes every year. Is
Yeah.
another one, was in Nam. So yes,
I
and I
live
and
in the
nice
area
to
and I agree. It's absolutely beautiful what they've done.
It is, it is. They've done a great job. So tell us, what are some of the behind the scenes work that most people just might not realize?
Oh, for sure. The biggest thing that surprises people is when in April we start talking about going to the volunteer warehouse and people say, wait, what?
The
Because
little
you can imagine any large event takes a whole year to plan.
It
So,
does.
yeah. So our festival season, our planning season starts generally in April. The most behind the scenes folks get together and start talking about, what we're going to do for the year. Then we have our first warehouse meeting and talk about, okay, are we building any new floats? What floats need to be refurbished? Is there anything, we're big on trying to improve the experience every year. So what hiccups did we have last year that we can streamline? What new sponsor is interested and how can we work with them? This year, because of that move to Center Greens, we have the opportunity with it's right next to an auditorium, essentially is like on our campus, that
Yes.
now we have Charles Phoenix doing a show as part of our festival. How cool is that?
Yes. That is so cool. He was a guest on our show recently,
Yeah,
not long ago, and he's quite a character. And
amazing, isn't he?
so let's just segue let's take a little break from the main theme of the festival, and let's talk about, so what does he do? Because I think he has slides and he does tours, and he tours Los Angeles with the theme of there's Disneyland in LA. So
Yeah.
what's his role in the Anaheim Festival?
So he has always he's long, I should say, been a supporter of the festival, and he's ridden in the parade before.
Of
And,
course.
he loves kitsch and retro, and our whole like creative direction of our event is very retro and nostalgic. So it's a perfect fit. And so his shows are so fun. It's almost like a kitschy comedy show where he collects old slides, like just from strangers that he finds. He has a huge archive of slides, and then he categorizes them and will do a show that's themed. So what he's done for us in the past as a fundraiser that I was lucky enough to sit in on was a slideshow that was all Halloween themed.
Oh
So
my.
yes, can you imagine? So fun, like people in their Halloween costumes in 1957, and what the way they decorated their lawns and the way their living room looked. And then of course he
True.
does his clever commentary along with
Yes,
everything.
true. Yes,
Yeah, it
true.
becomes like a whole basically comedy hour where it's just really delightful and so fun.
Yes. And he is a delightful gentleman. He just has
Absolutely.
can't get enough creativity spewing out of him. I mean,
Yes,
he just does more
totally.
and more and more and more. So the behind the scenes work is deciding on the floats. Now, is there a theme? You
Well,
have an annual theme?
the theme is always the same, which is to celebrate Halloween, the harvest season, and Day of the Dead.
Okay.
So we have, an overall color palette. But a big thing that we try to do is refer back to the history of the parade. So, parade's been going on since 1924 is when the parade started. It's been going on since then, the year after the festival started. And we have a ton of amazing archival images of parades past, particularly at the Historical Society in Anaheim. They keep incredible records that they've allowed us access to comb through. And
That's great.
we use it for inspiration. So we've added floats before that are direct throwbacks to a float from, say, 1956. I might be getting the year wrong, but the silver anniversary of the parade, there was a trolley car float.
Oh,
We rebuilt it a few years ago. Our
okay.
modern version, it's, and when I say modern, it's not like it's
No,
spruced up, look futuristic.
current day version, let's put
Yes,
it that way. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Based on the photographs. And we have one of the fan favorites is the Flying Sasser, which originally some young boys put together a little flying saucer and wrote Flying Sasser on the
yeah.
outside. And
Oh,
there's a great black and white photo from the 50s of them proudly riding in their Sasser. So the parade staff rebuilt the Sasser, and this year they've actually redone it. It was out of commission for a while because, as we learn, like, what materials are longest lasting.
yes.
Also, you have to weigh so many things of, like,
Yeah,
it being functional and beautiful. So
yeah.
that's one of our newly rebuilt floats for this year is the Sasser, based on the one from the 50s.
Now, are most of your floats Disney themed?
No, actually, none of them are.
Oh,
We Disney is an incredible supporter of ours. They're one of our partner level sponsors, along with
oh,
the city of Anaheim as a partner level sponsor. Disneyland has always
so
been
nice.
incredible and supportive. But
As they should be, certainly.
yeah, they're wonderful. But creatively, there's a distinction between we don't use their IP. It's our own. Andy Anaheim is IP of the city itself, and because we're
Right.
a city sponsored event, they loan us his usage.
That's
And
nice.
then all the other characters have been created actually by creative volunteers, primarily Jody Daly, who does have a history as working for Disneyland. Now more freelance than anything, but he had been our creative lead for a very long time. And I came in this year helping with. I had sort of worked alongside him, as I was in the vending spot. Then I started volunteering at the parade warehouse, and really just was enchanted by it. So he got me involved more. He brought me onto the board to kind of help make a consistent branding out of this beautiful work that he had created over the years, which is also kind of a celebration of the history of the parade over the last 100 years.
And is this a full-time job for you?
No, this is all on the side.
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
And
all of us are volunteers. We all have day jobs and then do this on the side. So it takes a village.
I know it does. I know it does. So you told us a little bit about how it began was because there needed some activities for the kids to make them behave. That's not exactly what you said, but that's kind of close.
Yeah, but that's
And that was kind of the original purpose
yeah,
of the
for sure.
festival. But Anaheim has changed so much through the decades. How has the festival managed to stay relevant and still change?
Yes, that's a great point. The festival has changed quite a bit over the years with the city. Initially it was a local merchant, grassroots kind of production. At a certain point, it did become more put on by the city,
Mhm.
but then there's budgets and funding and things, of course, can only stay consistent for so long. When it goes over 100 years, there's going to be some ebb and flow.
Yes.
So around 2012 was when it got kind of revitalized by a new group of city volunteers, community volunteers, who said,
Oh,
we really want to refurbish this back to its heyday, back to its glory. And I feel like they've done an incredible job of that. That was a little before my time, and then I came on board and got to be part of that, which is incredible. Really, that's the how do we stay relevant? It's really about listening to the community and interacting with the community and making the community part of the show. A big thing we want to do is it's become, even though it's volunteer based, so it's a lot
yeah.
of work to ask of folks, but it's
Yes.
also become a great opportunity for businesses, sponsors, vendors who participate. And so we always want to basically pour it back into our own community. Any vendors that we have are Southern California based, and Anaheim first, outlying Orange County, and then greater Southern California. even our main partner level sponsors are local. Disneyland, City of Anaheim, the Ducks, OC Vibe. They are large corporations, but they're local and specific to our interests. And then we have a ton of sponsors. The bulk of our sponsors are made up of lower fundraising amounts that local businesses provide. And it's really special because our sponsorships range anywhere from $1,000 to $10,000.
Oh
So
my.
yeah, so there's really a chance for local businesses to get involved. And that keeps us relevant by constantly communicating with our own community to output an event that's what they want to experience and enjoy.
And how do you know what they want? Do they give you feedback? Do you have like a
Yeah,
committee?
absolutely. We have direct feedback at the events and in between the events through social media, but we actually have data collection too, where we have surveys that we put out. So anyone going to the festival this year, keep an eye out. There's a QR code. There will be a QR code. I think they're handing out at the merch booth on cards, and you can fill out a survey because we want to know, what did you
Sure.
love? What
Yeah.
would you love? This is very much out of just the excitement of it for the community. It's a nonprofit, so we're not trying to get rich at it. We're just
Yeah.
trying to provide a great event for our very own community.
Do any particular decades or eras or years stand out?
Oh, I love the earliest era, the 20s, because
Oh,
that's with when the parade started. There's
uh,
some really amazing images, but then there's a lot of great archival footage of the from the 50s. That's, I'd say, what a lot of our floats throw back to, because that was when the parade kind of took a new life of creativity and sort of got bigger.
uh-huh.
So there's some incredible archival images of like early floats. One of the floats that has been redone, that's our a classic standard now, is from the 50s, and it's the Rocket Witch, and
Oh
it's
my.
a beautiful woman singing on a rocket. So originally it was a community member, and they made a space themed sort of atomic 50s 60s atomic style
Right. Yeah.
boat. And
Cartoon style. Yeah.
yeah, Jetsons.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes.
And she sits on it and waves, looks just like a gorgeous witch on a rocket. And we have a local community member, Amber Fox, who is a performer. She has a beautiful retro look to her, vibrant red hair like the original Rocket Witch. And several years ago she became our modern day Rocket Witch.
Oh, okay.
It's fantastic. She is very glamorous in that
Oh,
wonderful throwback style, and she actually sings and performs while she's on the float. And this year at the car show, she'll be performing on stage along Center Street Promenade during the car show.
wow. That's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. So, and how long has she been involved in the festival?
I think she's been there. She's definitely been there as long as I have, possibly before. So at
Hmm.
least 10 years, maybe 12, long, yeah, possibly longer.
What are some of the most beloved traditions that still carry on today? Are there any?
Yeah, the festival has craft booths, which are really special. Those are some of the things that are sponsored by different local businesses. So some of the crafts change, but the one I had mentioned before is the bisabuela craft of making the butterflies. So
Oh,
that's,
that's right.
and then there's like a pinata
Oh,
crafting booth, which is really special. It's the LA Pinata Design Studio, and they were one of the vendors along with me that first year that there were just three of us. And they're just a wonderful, I believe, third generation mom and pop pinata making business. And they sell small pinatas at the event, but they also have crafts where kids and us grown up kids too
yes.
can can make a pinata by hand right there at the table and decorate.
Wow.
Yeah, it's very cool. Um,
And
there's
then do they sell the stuffings for inside of it also, or do you have to take it to your local candy store and
You
fill
need
it
to take
up?
it to your local candy store. Although this year we have the Tiny Cinema, which is another feature, and they're sponsored by our the Santa Ana Art House Theater, the Frida, and they're going
Oh,
to
of course.
have concessions. So I suppose you can make your pinata and then go over to the concession stand and just pour your candy and popcorn right into it.
Yes. And the Frida is just a charming venue. It's
Wonderful.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
wonderful.
So for a couple years now, we've had at the festival this thing called Tiny Cinema, which a fellow named Davey B. Gravy puts on, and it's basically it's a lot like what you were saying is at the Packing House, but it's mobile. So it's like a small trailer that shows silent movies.
Oh,
Yeah. So that'll be there, and then the Frida is sponsoring because of course the like-minded love of film and historical film.
yes, absolutely.
So that's
Yeah,
been
how
a great new partnership that we've had. We started with the Tiny Cinema last year, and then we're really excited to have them back this year.
are there any hidden mistakes or secrets
Oh,
that happen that people would never know about? Of course there are. Of
yeah,
course
of
there are.
course. Well,
Of
when you said hidden, that made me think to mention the scavenger hunt, which is
Oh,
a
yes.
tradition.
Well, tell us. Yes, because we have this flyer which Karen's gonna our
Yes,
helper Karen's gonna show,
so,
and it talks about the scavenger hunt. So tell us about
absolutely.
that.
So that started. It was actually a COVID inspired inspiration
Oh,
because during the years of COVID, we couldn't have the festival the way that we usually did because, of course, you don't want to be interacting that close with that large a group of people. So one of the creative solutions that came out of that was a parade float scavenger hunt, where
oh,
the idea is, tricksters have hidden the floats around the downtown, and you get a little passport. You start at one of the stops, and you go and you find the different floats, and you get stamps on your passport for each float,
mm.
and then you turn it in at the end, and you're entered to win 2 tickets to Disneyland. So,
Oh my.
so it's a very popular feature. Is this the
So,
scavenger hunt?
so where were the floats positioned? Were they throughout the city, or
They're
where
throughout,
were?
they're throughout the downtown area. Yeah, I can't get too specific because it's a secret, of course.
Of
But
course, of
but you don't have
course.
to walk far. It's all within sort of the campus of the event.
But how did that help during COVID? Because we weren't
Oh,
supposed to
because
do this.
instead of having folks all like gather in one spot, it
Oh, I see.
had the
Oh,
crowd
I see.
out to separate. It wasn't, I don't believe we did it in 2020, but like in following years when we were still a little cautious, it was a
Yes.
way to spread the crowd out so that it wasn't
Yes,
as
I see.
concentrated.
I see. I see. Well, that's a great idea.
Yeah, and then it was so popular we kept it going, and
Sure.
kept it growing.
And it started just during the COVID.
Yeah, that one was probably it would have been 2021 or 2022, I believe.
Oh, what a great idea. What a
Yeah,
great idea. Because
it's a
everybody loves a scavenger hunt anyway, right?
absolutely.
Or who doesn't want to go and have some mystery and some secrets?
Yeah.
So, so what are some of the unexpected behind the scene moments?
Ooh. Well,
Like a float isn't ready on time, or
we've had
Anaheim
some.
isn't there where he's supposed to be, or
You're reminding me that yes. So I had mentioned earlier that the Sasser was rebuilt this year, and I'm remembering now that I believe the reason is because it careened off of the trailer that it was carrying it to the parade a few years back.
oh,
So there's certain things. It's actually amazing that everything goes right most of the time. So of course you're gonna
well,
have a
that's
few
the
things.
idea. You have an experienced committee. I'm sure that you do a great job.
Yes.
Uh,
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's any large event like this, it's about adaptability, right? Not not
Oh,
things
absolutely,
going flawlessly.
absolutely. Because you could have rain, you could have a wind, you could
Totally.
have, somebody crashes their car into one of the, displays or something. Who knows, right?
So yeah, we have hiccups here and there and logistic issues, and the nice thing is it seems that we've always managed to keep that away from the public, where the public still sees
Of
it as
course.
a flawless, perfect, wonderful event that they didn't even think anything could have possibly, it's like the Disneyland magic of you want to hide everything backstage.
Yes.
That's sort of our philosophy too, is like they don't need to know about those
They
little
don't
hiccups.
need to.
All they need to do is see the magic, keep it magical.
Absolutely, 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 and I'm sure that that happens at Disneyland where
Absolutely.
there's something that's going on and, okay, well, we're just gonna light these fireworks and
Yes.
nobody will ever know, right?
Track them, show
Those
over here.
fireworks, keep the parade moving and turn the music on, right? And everything will be just fine.
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely. The festival is known for its nostalgia,
Yes.
whimsical vibe. So how would you describe its personality?
Oh, I feel it's we always say spooky, not scary. And,
Right.
it's very Halloween, but not in a scary way, not in a gory way. And also an important thing, I think, we are definitely kid friendly, but that doesn't mean you have to be a kid to enjoy it.
Yes.
I
Well,
am
that's good for those of us who are a little bit older
yes,
than kids' age.
exactly. I myself, I don't have kids, and the kid in me is just as excited to go to the event, as my friends who have kids who see it through their eyes.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sure,
And
sure.
actually, one of the fun things we have is we have costume contests as part of the festival. And there's a kiddie costume contest, so kids dress up, and sometimes there's a
Oh.
category where it's like a family costume too.
Oh.
And then we have a doggy costume contest,
Oh, of course. You
which is
absolutely must have a dog.
not done. So one of
Absolutely.
my favorite traditions is throughout the day, you see kids and dogs in clever, amazing,
Aw,
homemade costumes walking
aw,
around the festival. It's my favorite thing.
of course. Yeah, aw, aw, how fun. Well, are there any unique or only in Anaheim features that give the festival its signature local charm?
That's a great question. That is one of the things that we try to do, particularly with the artist vendors that we have,
Oh, good.
is we try to curate a team of vendors that you don't just see at any kind of street festival. They might be artisans who do other street festivals, but it's not like your typical kind of thing that you would find at a street fair. We try to find
Okay,
things that are very unique and artisan made, and
okay.
so that it's like this collection of things you really are only getting access to once a year at this event.
Well, that's one of the questions I have is how do local artists and makers contribute to keeping that quirky energy alive?
Oh yeah, that's such an important part of it. It's certainly not the only part of it, because especially as we've expanded to have a lot more live performances and more room for craft booths and things, which is phenomenal. But I think that the heart of it is really the local artists.
Oh,
Both,
I'm sure.
yeah, both the ones who volunteer like me, and also the ones who come in as vendors like me also, because I'm a vendor as well. But we do things where we try to tie in with our vendors. Like a couple of years ago was the 100th anniversary. This year
Right.
is the 103rd festival and the 102nd parade.
Oh.
So a few years ago, we had a 2-year long centennial celebrating the
Oh, that's
festival.
nice.
Yeah.
That's
And
fun.
one of the many things we did to celebrate was one of our vendor artists, Gus James, who is like an unofficial mayor of Anaheim, is the joke with all among folks who know him, because he was born and raised here and just loves it and is a big supporter of all of the businesses and works here. And he's one of our artist vendors.
Huh?
So he donated his design skills on a t-shirt that celebrated the 100th anniversary of the
Oh, of
event.
course. Oh, it's beautiful.
So that is actually still available on our website. That's one of the designs you can get through our web store if anyone's interested. It was a really popular design, so we kept it around in the web shop.
Well, we know you've talked about how important the community is to be to the heart of this event. So how do you, the board members, collaborate with local organizations, schools, and businesses? How do you get this businesses to participate and still kind of keep them in line with your theme and your goal? And how do you get people to come?
Absolutely. One of the ways that makes that kind of easy is that the board members are all members of the community. And because it's a volunteer board, we're also business people who have jobs and have, if not owning our own businesses, have worked with other local businesses. So there are neighbors. A lot of the small businesses in Anaheim, the folks live in Anaheim too.
Mhm.
So it's really as simple as even just having conversations with the owner of the restaurant you go to on a regular basis. And a lot of our sponsors have been sponsoring for years. Then we try to always, when new businesses arrive, we, again, because we're interested in our own community, we go out,
Certainly.
we check them out, and we tell them about, hey, there's this event. And one of the cool things that I love so much is our folks on the board who work in sponsorship specifically, they work to kind of pair the sponsorship with the sponsor. So, for example, I had mentioned before the Tiny Cinema is sponsored by the Frida Cinema.
Yes.
The Bisabuela float is sponsored by Higginfield Mortuary.
Oh, I saw that they were a sponsor, so now I know what the connection is. Great idea.
Isn't that great?
Yes,
So it's those kinds of tie-ins where not only do we try to find a sponsor who we love, but we try to pair them with something that feels
of
authentic to
course.
them and their business.
Yes, of course. Of course. Yes, you must do that. And then I would guess that there's some businesses that like they just feel the need to be involved, right? Like
Oh,
if this is
absolutely.
happening, I need to be in it. And that's the
Yes.
idea, right?
Absolutely. And there are folks who are like, this is my float that I want to sponsor every year, and I will be there and supporting you. We get local businesses, city council members.
Perfect.
It's really great.
So tell us of so do you have a certain mix? Tell our viewers and our listeners. So do you have a mix of businesses or of floats or of vendors? What can they expect to see physically if they come there?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you once you arrive to the festival, you'll see food trucks from around the community with very tasty foods. You'll see.
And I'm going to interrupt you a second. And the ideal time to arrive is
Oh, well, the festival is from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
okay.
That's at Center Greens. The
Yes.
car show starts a little earlier over on Center Street, and that is from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And that,
Oh,
and they'll have their own set of vendors. Um, we're kind of seeing the car show as like the big sister event to the
okay.
festival. So both are family friendly and adult friendly, but the car show skews a little more grown up. There's a beer garden at the
Oh,
car show. There's our retro singing performers. It's more like rockabilly. We have an amazing community member, Trevor Kelly, who sings sort of like he's like a Sinatra style crooner. He'll be one
oh,
of our performers. There's like a surf rock band that's playing. And then, of course, the classic cars. And there's going to be an award show for the cars. And then at the festival itself, okay, so yeah, so I was saying festival is from 11 to 5, car show is 10 to 3, and then the parade starts at 7 p.m. So it's kind of open house. Arrive, at your leisure. But usually folks who are just coming for the festival might come a little earlier to the festival and spend kind of the day at the festival. If they're local, maybe they'll go home and come back for the parade. Some folks like to come later to catch the tail end of the festival and then
oh,
the parade at 7. But this year, there's a lot of, you can really spend the whole day because now we've built out this kind of campus of the event. You can really
yes.
fill your whole day with between the festival, the car show, and the parade. So yeah, once you arrive, you'll see there's an area of artist vendors, and that's local artisans and artists with goods that are both, well, it's always representative of the season, but it's all, we skew retro kitsch to fit the vibe of the event. We have a few Disney folks who have some fun Disney Halloweeny kind of items, and there's a great uh, just sort of like friends who started a small business doing vintage Halloween items each year at
Right.
the parade. So
Uh-huh.
they'll have they'll sort of flip vintage Halloween goods. And then the craft booths are going to be right near the artist booths where you can go and work on building a pinata or painting a little sculpture. The tiny cinema will be right there. Then there's also two performance stages for outdoor performances. And then when the costume contests happen, those happen on stage as well. We'll also have roaming entertainment. So Pumpkin Man, who I mentioned before, will be around for photo ops. And there's like a bubble, soap bubble
Mhm.
group for the kids, and roving like banjo players.
Aw. And then plus, of course, you have the chance to see Charles Phoenix.
Yes. And so there's Charles Phoenix, and we have other indoor entertainment too from Bob Baker Marionette Theater.
Yes, I heard about that. Tell us about that.
So they're incredible. Bob Baker Marionette Theater, for anyone who doesn't know, is a true marionette theater based in Highland Park neighborhood of LA. And they've been around again since before Disneyland. I believe they have a similar time frame to the parade. I think they've been around since the 1920s. I might be wrong on that, but they've been involved as long as I've been around with the parade, where they'll perform at the festival, and then actually we've had them ride in different floats before, where the marionettes are
Mm.
hanging out from the trolley and waving to the crowd.
And so are they large marionettes?
Yeah,
Apparently,
they're about like I
4,
mean, they're
4
bigger than I can gesture in this frame. Yeah,
feet. Here.
they're
Oh,
quite
that's
large.
great.
And they're that's a really amazing grassroots kind of small mom and pop theater that's been going on and is still going strong. So they're going to be performing in the auditorium throughout the day as well. There's an event schedule on the website, and we'll have event schedules, physical schedules on site as well.
That is exciting. It's a day full of fun for sure.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
and you do have food from the
Oh, yes,
beginning to
there's
the end.
delicious food trucks, and we also have a merch booth for festival merch. So that all fundraises for the event. So we have always had T-shirts in the past, but this year we've tried to expand our offerings. We have hats and patches. We've had some patches before. We did enamel pins with Andy Anaheim,
Oh,
everybody's favorite guy. And then we even have a special higher end offering this year. There,
yes. Tell
yes,
us more.
yes. There's an artisan goes by the business name of Steamboat Willie, because they do a lot of Disney inspired things, and they're actually based in Utah, but they come to Anaheim all the time to go to the parks. They're big fans. And one of our volunteers worked directly with them to create a Andy Anaheim charm
Oh,
on a solid sterling silver fine jewelry charm on a necklace chain. So we have a limited number of those that are going to be available at the merch booth at the fall festival. And that's a little bit of like a higher price point and more collectible, very special
how
item.
fun.
Yeah, I'm
Fun.
definitely going to be getting one.
How fun. How fun. How fun. So how do you balance the festival's history while keeping it fresh and engaging for younger audiences?
Oh, that's a great question, because, one of the things I love about our festival is, yes, it is, it's there's not a bunch of modern media and iPads, and there's like actual hands-on interactive fun, and kids love it. It must be refreshing, you know. I imagine there's not a ton of that even available anymore. That's,
Not a lot. Not a
so
lot.
so the craft activities, we have old fashioned interactive games like carnival games.
Sure.
And this year we're adding like a little croquet Halloween themed,
Oh,
with,
fun.
yeah, with the artistry design of Rody Montijo, who's one of our volunteer festival artists who contributes a lot to the design of parade floats. He's also going to be one of our artist vendors as usual this year. He's wonderful.
And do you add new floats? Do people ask if they can add a float?
Oh, I should mention the floats I've been talking about are sort of like hub of floats that the volunteers of the organization build. But the majority of our parade is actually entries from the community who build their own floats or our marching bands. We have a lot of like school marching bands, um, clubs. We have car clubs and roller derby clubs and local organizations who want to get involved. So we have our, I think it's like 14 floats, but then the other, there's 85 entries total. So the rest of the entries in the parade are all local dance groups and marching bands and clubs and organizations and council people, and it's really it really builds out what's so special about the parade.
And are all of these people, I think you mentioned earlier they're not, but just maybe clarify it for us. Are all the participants from a vendor and parade um, bands, floats, are most of them local?
Oh yes, we really that emphasize that. So when I say local, it can be larger Southern California, but the idea is to showcase our own community and give our own community the opportunity to be involved.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
That's nice.
absolutely.
And then do you audit them? Like, do they have to apply to be
Yes,
afloat
they
and give you
apply,
a copy
and
of their
the biggest thing is we just want to make sure it's on theme, that it's Halloween themed. But I mean, we have so many clever and amazing entries. It's really delightful. It's so
What are
delightful.
some of them that come to mind that were really unique and that you thought, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe they thought of that."
I've always loved when the Shriners Club is involved.
Oh, really?
They're just, on their bicycles with their hats, and they're just always a joy.
Yes.
We have a hearse club, like a car club that specifically hearses. So that's so fun because, of course, it fits right into our Halloween theme. And then one of our parade floats is actually an oversized hearse, exaggerated. So that tie-in is really great. Ours has a giant spider on top with mobile legs that light up and move.
That's so many unique things.
Yes.
We need to have you come back afterwards and kind of do a recap and
Yeah.
tell us what's going to happen for next year. But in the meantime, we have just a minute left. Tell us, where can people find the information? How can they volunteer? Do they have to buy tickets? Where do they go?
The
Let's
event
get
is
them all ready to go
yeah.
to your event.
The event is free, free, free to the public, open to the public. All of the information is at AnaheimFallFestival.org. We also have social media where you can get a lot of information. Links to that are on our website, and on our website, it's a very comprehensive list of our sponsors, the organizers, what's happening, the entertainment schedule. It's your best spot, your one-stop shop for all of the information. AnaheimFallFestival.org.
Yes, I think they might be seeing this backwards, but it does say, you can see at the top, where's the car show,
Yes,
scavenger hunt, how to volunteer, and how to donate if you feel that this is
absolutely.
something
And
you'd
there's
like.
info on parking. There's info on like anything you need to know is right there.
So it sounds like this is the place to be. And the date is
And it's this Saturday, October 25th. It always
this
happens the
Saturday.
Saturday before Halloween, so October 25th.
Perfect. Evie, thank you so much for your insight, your creativity, and your love for this incredible Anaheim tradition and really Orange County tradition. The Anaheim Fall Festival is more than just an event. We found that out today. It's a living piece of community history that continues to evolve. Thank you to people like you, keeping that whimsical hometown spirit alive, especially in Disneyland, in Anaheim, where there is more than Disneyland. For everyone listening, for our viewers and our listeners, if you haven't experienced it yet, mark it on your calendars. It's this coming Saturday. It's one of Southern California's events that truly captures the magic of connection, creativity, and community. I'm Valerie Van De Zilver. This is SoCal with Val. Thank you very much, Evie, for being our guest today. This is where we celebrate the heart and the soul of Southern California, one fun story at a time.